Alright, chat. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cheers! Oh yeah, make it loud as possible. Alright, chat, you're about to see me. I haven't streamed in about a month. Alright, chat. What's good, chat? Oh, I miss Chattingtons. Let's hope people hop on today. Alright. So, today, basically, it's a Halloween special, right? Wait, William, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You're gonna hear me like this for the next 2 hours. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Alright. So, we're gonna play a Block Games G+, like Google+. And, yeah, we're gonna get into it because, this is gonna be a long fucking stream, eh? It's gonna be about like 3 hours. And then I gotta burn. I shouldn't say that because it's illegal, but I don't give a fuck. Hello haters, hello lovers, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Let's get into it. So, on Block Games is like, you know, in school, like, unblock games, you know what I'm saying? Because people, the school blocks it, you know what I'm saying? Yo, name a game, name a game. William, name a game.
Name a game?
Yeah, name a game. What the hell is GTA mods? This is on my fucking, what the fuck? Geometry Dash? Should I try Geometry Dash with a fucking Michael Myers mask on? Full screen this bitch. Geometry Dash. Load! Dude, I just want to play Geometry Dash. Oh, get it. It's so hard to see this ball. No! gotta think
I
about
just
it.
want to.
No way! Bro, that was clutch. That was clutch. That was clutch.
Knock you in your charges. Yeah. Yeah. You are a pussy. You're a
Why are you singing Juice now? It didn't jump. This is bullshit. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You saw me got Why did I let go of the key?
So I'll call you back. I'm gonna see.
Just fucking watch my stream. double jump. Alright, chat, we're reacting. Since we're reacting, I can take that off. Alright, chat, we're back. Okay. This is called Found Footage E4 Mike's Home Invasion Analog Horror by the username Cheech Burrito. Well, if I'll like it if that's pretty good. Okay. I hope that's not too loud, but loud enough. Viewing footage, the following is illegal and punishable by law if not previously cleared with your assistant. If you have access to this recording, you're now part of your local authority. Please stop the video and discard the tape immediately. Well, this is obviously fake, right? So. The Knox County Police Department. That's a pretty nice emblem. I always wonder why they always add the stars. They're not really representing anything. Officer Carson blank recovered items, interest at the address blank. A 12-year-old boy named Mike blank who was home alone called the Knox County Police Department due to blank. That to record. Cassette tape with unknown voice. just says displaying static around the house. Okay. Following footage was captured by 12-year-old Mike blank. Wait, 12-year-old Mikey? That's crazy.
Wait up, I'm coming. Alright, Mikey, we'll be back soon, okay? Like
Yeah.
20 minutes, we're going to the woods, okay?
Okay, Tyler,
Alright, I'll
bye. Okay.
1983? Dang. How many years ago was that? Like 42?
Going upstairs. This camera's out of focus. There we go. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna play this new album right here. This camera's not in focus.
Oh yeah, this is during the MJ days.
Here we go.
Billie Jean is not my lover. He's just a girl. Claims that I am the one. But that kid is not my son. Oh, yeah.
Let's gonna try and get this on here. Come on. There we go.
Bro, 1983 is a vibe. A vibe.
Let me find it. There it is. Alright, I'm gonna play his new game I got. It's called Centipede. And I've played it at the arcades, and I hope it's as good as the arcade version. Let's do it.
Dude, this is crazy, bro. He was running like, what, 70? Wait, he's 12. He's 71. Make sure my dad's not coming in.
There we go. See, guys?
Oh.
See, guys? It's pretty good. Oh, darn it. No. Waiting for Tyler and Alex for a long time, and I don't know where they're at. It's kind of making me a little bit worried, but they'll probably be back soon. Gosh. Tyler! I don't know where he's at. What? Mom? I'm ready for bed.
No, 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 no.
I'm ready for bed.
I don't know if I'm just tripping. What? Is that just a coat? The hell is that? I don't know where to actually put this thing. Probably. I guess we'll keep to the right. It feels a little weird. I prefer my left though. I prefer left. Yeah.
Back in my bedroom. Just playing that new board game. All that stuff. Oh my gosh.
AI. I mean, we're in at 4 minutes in of a 14-minute video. Government order. Oh, hell nah. What am I looking at, bruh? It's like 480p. Yo, bro, chill. Yo, chill. You're going way too quick.
I like watching this every night. It's very relaxing.
I'm scared. I'm scared. Nah, bro. Oh, Bob Ross.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and for the next 13 weeks, I'll be your host as we experience the joy of painting. This is a touch of magic Vitamer brush here to go through this thicker paint. And this will make it a little bit thinner so it'll stick on top of the thick paint. This is why we're able to paint wet on wet.
My dad watched Bob Ross.
Let's put some happy little things happening back in here. Some brushes and stuff. Here they come, down the hill. Just let them figure out. That's as usual.
What? What's this? EPS?
Is this real? Who am I asking to?
At this time it is advised that you lock all your doors and windows. Do not open the door for anyone even if it looks like a normal human being. Even if you hear your door open or window shatter, do not react. Find a safe hiding place in your home and do not make any noise. If a family member is outside, do not intend to pick them up. Make sure to turn off all television sets and radios once this broadcast is complete. I repeat, do not have your television on once this broadcast is finished. If you see anyone who looks like a human on your television set with impossible features, look away as quickly as possible. It is very important to hide your children from television sets with disturbing imagery. If you hear anyone in your yard or inside your house that sounds like a human, assume it isn't. If you have access to any loaded weaponry, make sure to have it on you at all times. If you see anyone who has biologically impossible features, make sure to run and hide. If you see a clone of yourself or someone else you know, run and hide. Don't try to save your pets from any harm that may happen if an intrusion occurs, because it could cost you your life. Make sure to hide your children and be prepared for the worst.
Mom! Mom! She's not here. I'm back. I'm back.
Isn't it like a... Look at this. Is that what he's geeking about?
I'm back.
Or is he just geeking about I'm back? Because, like, for this... Right there. Slightly opens, brother? Nah. Is that what he's geeking about? Nah. Brother, he could. Why are you worried about that? Oh my Ah, but I'm out of
Like,
it.
I'm home.
Well, what can you do?
I couldn't help but notice you locked all the doors and windows. But don't worry, I managed a way to come in. It's not really nice of you, Mike. To lock me out like that. Besides, I am your older brother after all.
That's not Tyler.
Why would you want to lock me out? Anyways, I'm in your house. And we're all alone. Good night, Mikey.
What?
Don't use technology, right? I'm not paying attention to that, my bad.
What's your emergency?
I need somebody to come to my house. There's someone inside, and I don't know where my mom and dad went.
Your parents aren't home?
No, they just disappeared, and there's something in my house. I'm scared. Please come over.
Okay. What's the address of your home? What street? What's your name, son?
Mikey.
Mikey, have you seen the individual who intruded your house?
No, but someone opened the basement window, and I found like a cassette tape by the window, and played it on my tape recorder. It was a really deep voice of someone pretending to be my older brother, Tyler.
Where is your brother?
He hasn't come home. He went out with his friend Alex and never came back. I don't know where he is.
Okay, Mikey. I need you to be brave for me. I'll be over shortly. Stay away from whatever's in your house. Mikey?
The Bite of 83. Oh, November 14th, 1983. Oh, word. The Bite of 87 FNAF 2 location is attacked by animatronics, losing their frontal lobe. Jeremy, R.I.P. Jeremy, and R.I.P. Crying Child. The victim was likely attacked by walking around an animatronic during the day, resulting in the loss of their frontal lobe. Did they die? I should become a security guard. A new phone number. Sick. Yep, something cool. It's almost the end of it. Bro, I got no knowledge. Whoa. Oh, word, man, I just seen that in 1983. Nah, brother. I'm trying to keep my eyes open. Oh, hell no. Oh, word.
Open up. Here to help you. Is there anyone in there?
Bro, he's gonna get obliterated. Oh, you're cooked. Don't go in. You just won.
On the morning of August 26, 2015, WDBJ reporter 24-year-old Allison Parker and her cameraman 27-year-old Adam Ward visited the Bridgewater Plaza near Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. Their goal was to do a live interview with the executive director of the local Chamber of Commerce, Vicky Gardner, about an upcoming event at the lake. Things went just as planned initially, with Adam setting up the camera equipment and Allison starting the interview at 6:45 a.m. What none of them knew, however, was that they were about to become the victims of a crazed stalker. Just seconds into the interview, an armed man walked up to the group and opened fire. The live feed cut back to the in-studio reporter, who was just as shocked at what happened as the many viewers watching live.
Okay, not sure what happened there. We will, of course, let you know as soon as we find out what those sounds were from.
Tragically, by the time first responders arrived, both Allison and Adam had already succumbed to their injuries and passed away. Vicky was badly hurt as well, but she managed to play dead and ultimately survive the encounter despite getting shot in the back. As for the perpetrator, he had already fled the scene by this point, and with no nearby CCTV capturing a clear image of his face or vehicle, investigators were left at a dead end. But then, someone at the WDBJ network analyzed the footage further, which revealed one blurry but still recognizable frame of the person responsible for this tragedy. This was 41-year-old Vester Lee Flanagan, a former WDBJ reporter who went by the professional name of Bryce Williams. He'd actually worked with both Allison and Adam in the past, but was fired from his job after higher-ups received several reports of workplace aggression. However, what seemed like a disgruntled ex-employee lashing out at his former colleagues at first turned out to have a far darker backstory to it. You see, Vester had an extensive history of being difficult to work with, long before he joined WDBJ. He was fired from one of his early reporting jobs from NBC affiliate WTWC in the year 2000 for, quote, odd behavior towards his coworkers. While the exact reason for his termination was never revealed to the public, from what I was able to find, it had something to do with him being aggressive and trying to intimidate others. But instead of admitting fault, he filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against his employer, which eventually ended with an out-of-court settlement. However, that was only the beginning. From there, he found work at multiple other stations, but struggled to build a career at one place, largely due to the many altercations he got into with his colleagues. He had severe anger management issues and would often resort to physically confronting his coworkers over even the smallest disagreements.
He had increasing conflicts with people at the station, especially the floor crew, some of the other reporters, some of the photographers in the field, to the point where He was threatening people, had some physical confrontations with a couple of people, and at one point became such a distraction that we finally had to terminate him.
He eventually secured a position at WDBJ in March of 2012, and it was the same story once again. It didn't take long for him to fall into the same pattern of anger and bullying there as well. Just months into his employment, the WDBJ management had already received multiple reports of his coworkers feeling threatened or uncomfortable working with him. In fact, his behavior at WDBJ was worse than at any of his previous jobs, leading to his termination in January 2013, less than a year after he started. He even had to be escorted out by police when he refused to accept his termination and threatened his superiors with violence. Vester once again tried to play the racial discrimination card and singled out Allison and Adam for the alleged racist behavior. However, a third-party investigation didn't find any evidence of discrimination, and his case was thrown out. He likely named them because he knew they were among the coworkers who had filed complaints against him. After his shameful termination from WDBJ, he struggled to find work elsewhere in the industry, and his resentment against the two colleagues he believed had destroyed his life only grew with each setback. This resentment reached its tipping point on the morning of August 26, 2015. He tracked down where Allison and Adam were doing their next job and stalked them as they were getting ready to go live. As soon as they began the interview, Vester walked up to them and opened fire. But this was only part one of his plan. You see, while Adam's camera did catch Vester for a split second, the footage wasn't clear enough for the investigators to name him as the prime suspect with complete certainty. Fortunately, this doubt vanished quickly when, at 8:26 a.m., Vester faxed a 23-page manifesto to ABC News, admitting to everything. Though most of these pages were filled with nothing more than the incoherent ramblings of an extremely angry and mentally unwell man. In them, he described himself as a human powder keg just waiting to go boom, how he was angry at the world, and mentioned the Charleston church incident as his tipping point. How that connected to him taking the lives of his former coworkers was never entirely clear. Then, at 11:14 a.m., he also uploaded a video of the crime he'd recorded from his point of view on Facebook. This left no doubt that Vester was the one behind the incident, prompting an immediate nationwide manhunt. Tracing his cell phone allowed the officers to find him on the highway, attempting to flee the state in a rented vehicle at 11:20 a.m. But when they tried to pull him over, he sped up and eventually crashed onto the side of the road. And before the officers could reach his car, he decided to end the chase with the firearm he had on him, bringing the manhunt to a sudden, shocking conclusion. On the 25th of June 2014, Charles Bothell went on the Nancy Grace Show seeking the public's help in finding his missing son. 12-year-old Charlie was first reported missing from his home in Detroit, Michigan 11 days ago on June 14th. His father, Charles, had been doing everything in his power to help locate his son, from going door to door in his neighborhood to spreading missing person posters throughout the city. Unfortunately, despite dozens of people, including the FBI looking for him, the young boy was nowhere to be found. And the hope of finding him alive was diminishing with each passing day. Appearing on live TV was Charles' last-ditch effort to raise awareness about his son's disappearance, hoping someone with the information might see the show. However, just minutes into the broadcast, the interview took a bizarre turn when Nancy received a report that no one expected.
The father of that missing 12-year-old boy, Charlie, with me is his father, Charlie Bothell. Charlie, we're getting reports that your son has been found in your basement. Sir?
Apparently, while Charles was on TV, investigators obtained a search warrant to conduct a thorough search of his home. There, they found Charlie huddled in the basement behind a massive pile of barrels and boxes. Upon hearing the news of his son's discovery, Charles reacted with complete shock.
How could your son be alive in your basement?
I have no idea.
However, something about his reaction felt extremely off. Many argued that a normal father would have ended the interview immediately and rushed to the son he hadn't seen in 11 days. Charles, on the other hand, seemed more concerned with denying the report and trying to prove his innocence.
Sir, did you check your basement?
I checked my basement, the FBI checked my basement, the Detroit police checked my basement, my wife checked my basement. I've been down there several times. We've all been checking.
He even lashed out at other reports for insinuating that he knowingly forced his son to hide in the basement, when in reality his actions were far more cruel than anyone could have expected. The truth came to light as soon as the investigators found Charlie. According to him, his stepmother, Monique Dillard Bothell, was the one who ordered him to hide in the basement. She also told him not to make any sound, no matter what he heard. From there, they spread the rumor that their son had gone missing and began looking for him. But despite their cries for help, they were very uncooperative with the police to ensure that Charlie wouldn't be found. Investigators only sought the search warrant because they suspected Charlie was already dead. As for why the couple would do this, that remains a mystery to this day. Both have continued to claim they knew nothing about Charlie's whereabouts. Though, given what we know, the most likely explanation is that they wanted to exert even more control over his life. You see, when the investigators located Charlie, he had severe cuts and bruises on his body, likely from his parents. In addition to that, growing up, he also had to endure a grueling daily exercise routine that included 100 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, and 100 jumping jacks twice a day. Charlie was already homeschooled and cut off from the rest of society. Maybe the couple thought that faking his disappearance would allow them to do whatever they wanted without any oversight. Regardless of their intentions, their crime was clear as day. The two were arrested shortly after and stood trial over the upcoming months, with Charlie himself coming forward to testify against them. And while they were able to avoid jail time due to a plea deal, they lost complete custody of Charlie, who now lives safely with other relatives. On the evening of November 19, 2014, the Rockville, Maryland Fire Department responded to an intense house fire. The fire had engulfed the entire double-story house and was getting more and more intense with each passing minute. It took them over an hour to get the fire under control, and the house was barely standing by that point. Now, fires like these can start for any number of reasons, from a stove left on to an electrical short. However, before the investigators could even think about determining the cause, 27-year-old Carlos Peralta, who was one of the residents of the house, walked up to an ABC7 reporter covering the incident live and made the wildest revelation. According to him, this fire was the result of arson. Not only that, but he was the one who started the fire just hours earlier.
Me, I set it on fire.
Given the sheer strangeness of this unsolicited confession, the reporter didn't believe him at first. But Carlos was more than happy to provide more details of how he committed the crime.
I just poured gasoline on the floor, set it on fire, and went to buy a drink and came back.
Minutes later, he walked up to the police officers standing nearby and confessed to them as well. His clothes had the smell of gasoline, and a basic search revealed a lighter in his pocket, providing the officers enough evidence to believe his story and arrest him on the spot. As for his motive, Carlos claimed that he did all this to get the media's attention about the deplorable living conditions in that house. However, burning down the house he wanted to report on made little sense. That is, until investigators dug further into his history and discovered that he'd been suffering from schizophrenia as well as alcoholism for the past few years. He was also arrested for destruction of property just 2 weeks before this incident. Put simply, this house fire was the doing of a mentally troubled man who genuinely believed he was doing the right thing. The fire ended up causing $400,000 in property damage. Fortunately, the other 5 residents, including Carlos's own mother, were able to escape without any harm. Though what happened to Carlos after his arrest was never made public. But given the severity of his crime, he was likely sentenced to several years in prison.
But it's his house, though.
On July 27, 2007, news helicopters in Phoenix, Arizona were reporting on a live police chase that was happening in the city. The chase had begun about 22 minutes earlier when the police identified and pulled over a stolen flatbed pickup truck. In an attempt to avoid arrest, the driver, 23-year-old Christopher J. Jones, reversed into the police cruiser and tried to flee the scene. Unfortunately for him, word of the chase got out quickly, and minutes later, 6 different helicopters were tracking his every move. This included 1 police chopper and 5 others from different news stations. However, while everyone's eyes were fixated on the road, a tragedy was about to take place in the sky.
We'll see what happens here. He has stopped. This may be the end of this thing.
Well, he's taking off running.
Okay, now it's a foot chase.
Okay, now he's jumped into another
vehicle. Okay.
All right, they're closing in. Looks like they've.
Oh, jeez.
We're gonna pull out. We don't know what has just happened right there. It looks like the police have closed in on him. We don't know what exactly has transpired. Looks like they've.
Oh, jeez.
We're gonna pull out. It looks like they've.
Oh, jeez.
We're gonna pull out. We don't know what has just just happened right there. It looks like the police have closed in on him. We don't know what exactly has transpired between the police.
Seemingly out of nowhere, two of the news helicopters' feeds abruptly stopped. They had crashed into each other before tumbling to the ground and exploding on impact. One of the helicopters involved in this crash belonged to an ABC affiliate network, KNXV, piloted by Craig Smith with camera operator Rick Krolak. The other was reporting back to an independent Phoenix station named KTVK with pilot Scott Bowerbank and photographer Jim Cox. All four were sadly killed instantly on impact, leaving the other reporters stunned and struggling to process the sudden tragedy.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Phoenix Tower, Skybox 10. Just had a mid-air collision over here at the park. Two helicopters down. Oh, my God.
Fortunately, the helicopter's crash landed in an empty park, avoiding any additional casualties. A later investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board concluded that the accident was the result of both pilots' failure to see and avoid the other helicopter. But that still raises the question of how. How could two experienced pilots make such a critical error? Well, the answer to that lies in how many news helicopters operated during that time. But first, an important thing to note is that when so many choppers are in close proximity, traditional air traffic control systems are not very useful. Instead, the pilots are instructed to operate under visual flight rules. In other words, they were responsible for keeping an eye on their surroundings and maintaining safe distance at all times. Now, this shouldn't have been an issue for experienced helicopter pilots like Craig and Scott. The issue, however, was that the two were doing a lot more than just flying the choppers. Not only did they have to monitor multiple communication channels with other helicopters, air traffic control, and the network, they were also reporting live on the action below as it unfolded before them. While juggling all these responsibilities, one of the pilots briefly lost awareness of their surroundings for just a few seconds. Tragically, that was long enough for the helicopters to drift too close and collide mid-air. The only silver lining was that the incident led to major reforms in news helicopter safety, including news stations using a shared single helicopter feed and studio ground-based reporting, measures that continue to save lives to this day.
We'll watch this one, and then I'm just gonna hop off.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Halloween. No, not the 1978 original. No, not the Rob Zombie remake either. Yeah, there you go, the 2018 sequel that has the same exact name as the original for some reason. Although its title is the same, Halloween 2018 is not a reboot, at least not entirely. What it does do is create another new time.
Alternate universe. Halloween 20 years later. The Halloween 2. That's cool.
Line in the Halloween franchise, since this movie is a direct sequel to the original 1978 classic. So in this movie's timeline, there's never been a Jamie Lloyd or a Carrie Tate or a Busta Rhymes or a Sherry Moon Zombie. And perhaps most significantly, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode are no longer related.
Wasn't it her brother who like cold-blooded mutilated all those teenagers?
No. That's just a bit that some people made up to make him feel better, I think.
Since remember, that fact didn't come out until Halloween 2 in 1981.
That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister.
I think it's entirely understandable that they wanted to wipe the slate clean, because the timelines for this franchise are ridiculous, and it's much easier to just start over from the end of the original. Halloween 2018 is the first sequel since Season of the Witch to have any direct involvement from series co-creator John Carpenter, and in fact the whole movie was billed as a return to form by director David Gordon Green and co-writer Danny McBride. I think they mostly succeeded with that goal. While it may be much flashier and slashier than the now 40-year-old original, it definitely feels more like Carpenter's classic than anything that involved cult curses or Big Brother style live streams. In this timeline, Michael's been waiting 40 years to kill again. How many will he secure as a sadistic, spry 60-year-old? Let's find out and get to them. The movie begins at the Smiths Grove Sanitarium, where uncomfortable close-ups and excellent sound design create an immediate feeling of unease. A couple of wannabe journalist podcasters, Dana and Aaron, are there to record a story about Michael Myers, and to that end, they meet with Michael's overseer, Dr. Sartain, who sounds like Dr. Loomis in more than one way.
Michael has been my life's obsession.
In fact, Sartain here was a student of Dr. Loomis, whose shadow still looms as large over this franchise nearly a quarter century after Donald Pleasance's death.
Dr. Loomis was the only one to see him in the wild, and he concluded he was nothing more than pure evil.
Sartain leads them out to the prison yard, where Michael Myers reigns king of this human chessboard. The little pawns all around him start freaking the fuck out when Aaron tries to reach into Michael's soul and evoke something using his old Bill Shatner mask. He says he got the mask from a friend at the AG's office, which sure, I mean it's just a little murder case evidence, might as well let the amateur podcasters borrow it. No big. Now while the mask they use in this movie isn't for reals the same one they had in 1978, makeup artist Christopher Nelson recreated that mask and added really good-looking aging effects to it. I think this movie's mask looks better than most of the ones from throughout the series, especially that stupid fucking alien-looking one from Part 5. In this movie, Michael Myers is played by actor and stunt performer James Jude Courtney, who was a very pleasant dude when I met him at the Halloween convention last year. Fun fact, Courtney was recommended for the role by stunt coordinator Ron Hutchinson, who did stunts on this film as well as the Rob Zombie Halloween. Because everyone in this movie is obsessed with hearing Michael speak for some reason, Aaron yells at the killer in hibernation to say something a few times, his command eventually crescendoing to an intensity that leads into a title card. Say something! The opening credits kick a lot of ass, featuring a pumpkin reverse decomposing and a chance to cheer in the theater when John Carpenter's name comes up. It's all set to an awesome update on his classic theme, and it ends with a close-up on the jack-o'-lantern's eye and nose. Now can you tell it's Michael holding a knife? So many of you couldn't see it in the original, even after I pointed it out. How can you tell it's Michael holding a knife? So many of you couldn't see it in the original, even after I pointed it out, so maybe that's why they made it a lot more clear this time through. When we come back, we find our intrepid podcasters driving around Haddonfield, Illinois and recording some shithouse quality audio. Seriously, as I mentioned before in the dare I say fantastic trailer reaction video that Chelsea and I did for this movie, we've used the Tascam DR40 extensively. And if you want to know what it would sound like recording without an external mic like Aaron's doing, then here, this is what it sounds like. It sounds like shit. Aaron and Dana pull up to some private property that's fenced in like a T-Rex pen and has a security camera keeping guard. This is the home of Laurie Strode, and the podcasters earn access with the promise of a $3,000 bribe, or speaking fee. Laurie's house is a full-on isolationist bunker, and it's in this home of floodlights that we get to see the world's most famous final girl again, just after she takes care of all these locks and barriers. We good? Okay, one more. There she is! Hell yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, it's great to see you again. Laurie's not very receptive to these yahoos, who are prying at her personal history so they can get more downloads for their podcast. Through them, we learn that she's twice divorced and currently estranged from her daughter's family. The conversation is obviously very painful for Laurie, which makes this whole scene great commentary on how any jackass with a Tascam can fancy themselves the next Serial and go invade communities and personal lives. Laurie ain't having it though, and sends these podcasters back to whatever shit town they came from. Let's meet Laurie's estranged family that we just heard about. They consist of her daughter Karen, played by Judy Greer, Karen's husband Ray, played by strongest man in the world Toby Huss, and their National Honor Society daughter Allison, played by quote-unquote newcomer Andy Matichak. They're introduced to us in a breakfast scene, which is always fun. Remember the Rob Zombie one?
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you!
Let's see how this family compares.
Oh man, I got peanut butter on my penis.
Weirdly similar. I guess whether you're white trash or National Honor Society, breakfast is a good time to talk about penises. As we already learned through those prodding podcasters, Laurie Strode's not on good terms with her daughter's family. Although it sounds like Allison wants to be closer to Gram Gram than her mom Karen will allow. She expresses this frustration to everyone in her social circle. Let's see, we've got her best friend Vicky, who's all about that boba. Vicky's boyfriend Dave, a stoner played by the son of Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon, whose mischief involves blowing up pumpkins, friends, her bad boy boyfriend Cameron, who's more interested in the next night's Halloween party than meeting Allison's parents at a dinner that night, and Cameron's best friend Oscar, a mini Josh Gad who serves as some solid comic relief.
You know, you're two yucky dumpsters, and I want to go dive in. Come here. Mwah.
While Allison's in class, we get a nod to that scene from the original when Laurie glanced out a window to see Michael Myers. But unlike when they alluded to that scene in H2O, with Michelle Williams also seeing Michael when she looked out her classroom window, this time through, it's Laurie herself standing there stalking. This movie does that a lot. It has Laurie replacing Michael in new renditions of classic shots. It's a fun way to touch on the theme of Laurie and Michael being forever connected, even without the familial relationship. Laurie's at the school to pass along that podcaster pay-to-play money to Allison for her national honors accomplishments, and during their fraught conversation, Laurie defends her parenting techniques that wound up causing her to lose custody of her daughter when Karen was 12 years old.
If the way I raised your mother means that she hates me, but that she's prepared for the horrors of this world, then I can live with that.
Laurie is definitely prepared for the horrors of this world, with a home shooting range full of mannequins and a bunch of guns, including one of those lever action rifles that Ash had in Army of Darkness and that I previously mistook for a shotgun. Thanks for the correction, you know I'm a gun dummy. Laurie takes one of her guns and gently caresses the trigger of it while she sits in a car that night drinking baby bottles of booze. The reason she's such a mess right now is because they're transferring Michael from Smithsgrove to another facility, in a scene that features a voiceover by comedian Colin Mahan doing a Loomis impersonation that plays over an illustration of our favorite shape shrink. Meanwhile, our least favorite shape shrink is boarding the bus to accompany his patient. We'll see how that pans out later, but right now, let's get a little taste of Jamie Lee Curtis's famous
Yeah. I thought my dad was yelling at me.
scream. She still got it. At a restaurant, Allison's family is celebrating her academic success and meeting her boyfriend Cameron, whose father is no stranger to Ray.
I know Lonnie. I went to high school with him. He used to sell me peyote.
Wait, Lonnie? Why does that sound familiar?
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
Oh shit, that's right! Lonnie was one of the little bastards who bullied Tommy Doyle about the boogeyman and made him crush his pumpkin. In fact, it was Lonnie's friend and fellow bully Richie who was the first person to run into Michael Myers with that cool sound effect. Laurie crashes the family dinner and chases down all that airplane alcohol with a full glass of red.
This is exactly why we don't reach out.
Damn, Karen don't fuck around. But you can't really blame her. I mean, who wants their drunk mom crying all over their entrees? Even if it does give this movie a chance to reference Michael's OG nickname.
I saw him. The sheep.
That's cool, but we've got company here for dinner, Grandma. After Allison comforts her vulnerable grandmother, Laurie leaves in her giant pickup truck, and in a weirdly flat performance by Judy Greer, Karen recounts her childhood of survival training and reenacting Silence of the Lambs to explain to her daughter why she doesn't want Laurie around.
I've spent my entire life trying to get over the paranoia and neuroses that she has projected on me.
Maybe the monotone is supposed to stem from digging up childhood trauma, but still seems kind of weird. Speaking of interesting vocal performances, here's this kid. His name is Kevin, and he is not excited about going on a hunting trip with his dad.
I enjoy it, but I'm missing dance class for this.
Yeah, also, he sounds like he just spent the first 15 years of his life screaming his lungs out. He and his dad come across the Smithsgrove bus on the side of the road. The inmates wandering around, much like they did in that shot from the original when Loomis and Marion Chambers found them freed from the sanitarium. Kevin's dad gets out to see what's going on while Kevin calls the police, but when his pops doesn't return, Kevin takes his hunting rifle and checks out things for himself. He finds a guard or cop or someone on the side of the road and for some reason keeps his gun trained on him like the dude's an 8-bit duck trying to fly off screen. The guy isn't dead when Kevin finds him, but he seems to have bit the dust by time we cut to a long shot. So I'm fine with having him kick off the count. Our first kill a full 30 minutes into the movie. Kevin approaches the bus looking for his dad, but instead he just showcases more crappy firearm training.
Don't shoot.
And then he flees from the scene of the crime? Damn kid, who raised you? When he climbs back into his truck to get out of there, Michael stops him by rising from the back seat and grabbing him by the neck. You might expect this kid to live because of his age, but nah son, Michael Myers ain't playing 40 years later, and he kills Kevin by breaking his neck against the car window. Yeah dude, they killed a kid. Although to be fair, the series did do that already back in Season of the Witch. Since Kevin managed to call the cops before his untimely demise, Deputy Frank Hawkins shows up on the scene to reveal another couple of bodies to add to the count. We don't need to add this body in the background, cause turns out that's Kevin. Just compare the clothes, it's clearly the same outfit. We can, however, add this cop who Hawkins notices on the side of the road. And before you even start, I don't think it's the same dude that Kevin found. Just compare where the two bodies are. They're on separate sides of the bus. They're also in different positions, and I don't think the cop Kevin found had enough life left in him to crawl that far away from his original spot. We get another body to add to the count when Hawkins finds Kevin's dad up against the side of the bus. His neck's so broken that it almost looks like there are some extra vertebrae in there. Ouch! When Hawkins checks the bus for any more bodies, he finds Dr. Sartain, who survived getting shot by Kevin and who tells Hawkins that Michael Myers has escaped. The next day, on Halloween, the podcasting duo heads to the Haddonfield Cemetery to look at Judith Myers' grave, where Erin describes her death in such detail that it evokes flashbacks to the original. Here we have another great bit of commentary, this time on how some true crime podcasters seem to get off on the morbid descriptions of the victims they're covering. It's kind of unsettling. Oh, and speaking of unsettling, Michael's there in the background watching them all the while. In fact, after they stop at a gas station, where I think Dana says she needs to drop a deuce,
We need to go to number 2 almost immediately.
we see that Michael has followed them there as well, walking around in broad daylight all willy-fucking-nilly. Dana heads to the bathroom in a shot that makes this gas station look very much like the one in part 4, the one connected to that Shrine of Lincoln diner where Doc Loomis encountered Michael again. And after Dana finds a suitable stall for her poop casting, she hears Michael walk into the bathroom, which is evocative of that one scene in Halloween H2O where he stole the keys to a car from that young mom on a toilet. This movie has franchise references all over the damn place. While Dana grows more fearful of the man outside her stall, Erin peeps in on the gas station clerk and finds that he's been killed on the job, his jaw broken and his teeth ripped out in a gnarly off-screen death. This movie is actually full of those. It's kinda cool. Erin then heads back to the garage of this gas station and finds a mechanic's body stripped of his clothes. We actually saw this mechanic being killed in the background a minute ago when Dana was asking where the loo was, but I'll put him on the list now when we know that he's confirmed dead. Back in the bathroom, Michael gives Dana a present, about $35 in Tooth Fairy bucks. Score! He chases her underneath the stalls in a scene that's equal parts suspenseful and nasty until Erin rushes into the bathroom to save her. Michael responds by grabbing Erin and beating him completely senseless, bashing his head against the wall and then the stall door a whole bunch of times. It's very violent, and although we see Erin clinging to life, the last shot of him does show his eyes closing, so I'm just gonna add him to the list. If he comes back in a sequel, don't bite my head off. This dude's injuries seem pretty damn fatal to me. As for Dana, she gets confirmed killed just off screen after Michael raises her up by the throat and breaks her neck with a nasty crunch. Oh no, with these two dead, their audience will have to choose to listen to one of the 5,000 other true crime podcasts. What a bummer. With his warm-up kills out of the way, Michael takes his mask out of Erin and Dana's trunk and suits up to his final evolved form. Mike Myers is back, baby, and he ain't here to be anybody's love guru. After Lori hears about Michael's escape from the prison bus on a news report, she heads over to her daughter Karen's house so she can fire drill her family.
You're dead.
Even though she warns them that Michael's bus crashed, they're more worried about the crazy lady waving a gun around in their house. So Karen ushers her to the door and says, "Take a good look at your daughter, Lori, cause it's the last time you're gonna be seeing me for a while." Halloween night comes, and with it, trick-or-treaters, as well as a direct reference to a scene in the original Halloween 2. Same costume, same shoulder-mounted radio, and similar abrasive sound cue. That homage leads into my absolute fucking favorite scene in this movie, which contains a few more references to Halloween 2. Remember when Michael kicked off that first sequel by stealing a knife from Mr. and Mrs. Elrod after she asked a very important sandwich question?
Harold, you want mayonnaise on your sandwich? How about mustard?
That scene gets updated in Halloween 2018 after Michael grabs a hammer from a garage and then begins a 2.5 minute long one take where the camera never stops rolling. It starts with a housewife, apparently named Gina Pancella, making a sandwich in a very Elrodian kitchen before Michael walks in and murders her off screen. You hear him hit her at least 6 times with that hammer, and we see the body momentarily after the shot continues on through the kitchen. Michael trades out his hammer for a much more comfortable kitchen knife and then walks through this woman's house, thankfully ignoring the crying baby in the living room. So I guess that's where the line is drawn. Raspy teenager? Okay to kill. Wailing baby? Too much even for Michael. He leaves through her front door and heads down the sidewalk, the camera still following him without a single cut yet. The shot continues as he scares a nurse and doctor couple getting ready to go to a costume party, and then as he steps onto a porch to find another victim with a classic sound cue. With the shot still fucking rolling, y'all, the camera holds its position as we watch Michael go around the side of the house. It's a perfect scene of suspense, and we don't break the tension until we see Michael come into the house and murder this woman, apparently named Andrea Wagner, by stabbing her through the back of the neck. The CG knife admittedly looks a little weird, but if that's what they had to do to assure that one shot went off without a hitch, it's totally worth it. At the high school Halloween party, where a DJ with a badass Frankenstein-themed table blares a not Icona pop song, Allison and Cameron are having a good time dressed as gender-bent Bonnie and Clyde when she takes a call from Vicky, who's babysitting a little kid named Julian. Vicky wants Allison to come hang out with her, and honestly, Allison, you should do it, just so you can chill with Julian. That kid's hilarious.
I know you talking about smoking weed. Don't lie to me. That's against the rules. I'm telling my mom.
Obviously, the scene is just here for comic relief, but it fucking works, man. I love the back and forth between Virginia Gardner and Jabril Nantambu, a first-time kid actor who apparently improvised most of his dialogue.
If I had some other kind of babysitter, she'd be reading me a story. I wouldn't be up clipping my nasty ass toenails.
Plus, they have a real sweet babysitter-babysittee relationship. And isn't that what this whole damn franchise was founded on in the first place? Dave shows up at Julian's house, dressed as a farmer and riding a wooden horse named after Laurie Strode's alias in H2O.
This is Tate.
Hi, Tate.
He's there to get icky with Vicky, but before they can get sticky, Julian interrupts them, complaining that there's a boogeyman in his closet. Vicky goes to retuck Julian in bed, but when he asks her to make sure the closet door is shut, she has a hard time fulfilling his request. That's because there is indeed a boogeyman inside, and after Michael slashes Vicky to the ground, Julian GTFOs. Vicky awesomely hits Michael with a chair and then tries to be a runaway, but she slips on, what, her socks? That sucks, man. I would have much rather seen her put up more of a fight or have a proper chase scene. But maybe I'm just being picky about Vicky. Instead, Michael kills her quickly with a couple of kitchen knife stabs to the back and then shuts the bedroom door. As for Stoner Dave, to his credit, even after Julian tells him to run, he grabs a knife and goes to defend his girlfriend. A police report about the incident comes through to Hawkins, and Laurie picks it up on a scanner in her truck as well. While Hawkins investigates Julian's house, Laurie arrives outside and tells kids wearing the Halloween 3 masks to get out of there and go home. But maybe don't watch any TV commercials when you get there, okay kids? Underneath a sheet ghost, Hawkins finds Vicky's body, and if that seems too decorative for Michael Myers for you, don't forget, he did splay Annie out in front of his sister's tombstone back in the original. He's no Jason or anything, but he's always had a small streak of creativity when it comes to corpse decoration. Outside, Laurie sees Hawkins through one window of the house, and then Michael in another, the first time she's seen him in his mask in 4 decades. For this shot, Michael Myers was played by Nick Castle, the man who originally donned the mask in 1978. He was also a very pleasant dude when I met him in person. Laurie shoots at what ends up just being Mirror Myers, so Michael is able to just saunter on out of the house totally unscathed. By the time Hawkins goes downstairs after him, Michael is gone, but he does find Dave's body pinned against the wall with a knife through his neck. Again, another pretty decent off-screen kill, and this one's even got a timestamp. Outside, Laurie shoots Michael in the shoulder, but he still manages to get away from her. Hawkins catches him outside, and another pretty decent off-screen kill, and this one's even...
Oh. Wait. Bro predicted his death.
We got a timestamp. Outside, Laurie shoots Michael in the shoulder, but he still manages to get away from her. Hawkins catches up with Laurie and they talk to each other in a very familiar way. So at first I had guessed he was one of her ex-husbands, but alas, turns out that's not the case. He is, however, the cop who caught Michael after he was shot off that balcony 40 years ago. In this timeline, after Michael disappeared from the ground, scaring the sanity out of Dr. Loomis, he was apparently captured mere moments later by none other than Frank Hawkins here, who also prevented Dr. Loomis from killing Mikey My My. The badass looking Sheriff Barker arrives with the recently awakened Dr. Sartain. But unfortunately, Sheriff Barker's not a bigger character in this movie, and instead we're about to be stuck with Sartain for a little while. Sartain sees Laurie and fanboys over her hard. Chill out, dude. You should know Ms. Curtis don't like that kind of shit. After meeting him, she refers to him as the new Loomis, although I personally prefer the much shorter Noomis. During all this, Allison's time at the high school dance has been a total disaster, since she caught Cameron kissing with a kitty named Kim. Between